Have you ever walked into a room and noticed him? The man who barely says a word, but somehow every woman's eyes find him. He's not showing off, he's not loud, but something about the way he carries himself lingers. Here's what most men completely miss. Attraction isn't always about big moves or bold words. It's in the quiet things, the unspoken signals, the subtle habits that trigger something deeper. And women notice them even when they don't fully realize why. So today, we're pulling back the curtain. These are the understated habits women secretly love. Not the kind that just grab her attention for a moment, but the kind that echo in her mind long after you've gone. The best part, you don't have to fake anything. You just have to understand what makes your presence unforgettable. This is subtle. This is habit number 1 powerful. This is dark psychology. Let's begin. Habit number 1, adjusting your watch or bracelet. Here's a moment most guys waste. There's a pause in the conversation and they get awkward, fidget, ramble, check their phone. But a man who moves with calm, who slowly adjusts his sleeve or watch, not out of nervousness, but with control, creates a whole different effect. Why does this tiny gesture hit so hard? Because it says something deeper. Self-awareness, emotional control, presence. You're not escaping the silence, you're owning it. This move draws the eye to your hands and wrists, places women are biologically wired to pay attention to. Why? Because hands signal strength, capability, protection. But even beyond biology, the message you send is powerful. I know who I am. I take care of myself. I don't need to perform. That's rare. That's attractive. So next time there's a lull in the conversation, don't rush to fill it. Pause. Breathe. Adjust your sleeve. Re-enter. Let her feel your stillness, because it's not the movement itself that matters. It's the intentionality behind it. And trust me, she'll notice. Even if she doesn't say a word, her mind will. You don't need to dominate the room to stand out. You just need to move like a man who doesn't need to chase attention to have it. Habit number 2, pausing before you answer. Most guys rush to respond, afraid that silence makes them look unsure. But real confidence, it's not loud, it's measured, it's deliberate. When you pause before answering a question, even just a beat, you shift the dynamic. She's not evaluating you anymore. She's waiting on you. You're not reacting, you're choosing. In a world full of fast talkers and surface-level charm, a man who slows down stands out. That pause signals you're actually listening, you're thoughtful, you respect the moment. And yes, it builds tension too. She starts wondering, what's he thinking? What's he about to say? And just like that, she's leaning in. Coming up next, the habit that makes her feel seen without you saying a word. Stay with me. Psychologically, women associate pause with depth. When a man takes a moment before he speaks, when he lets silence linger just long enough, signals something powerful. Maturity, control, and emotional intelligence. So, next time she asks you something, even if it's simple, don't rush to answer. Hold eye contact. Breathe. Let it land, then respond with intention. That pause, it's magnetic. It makes your presence feel heavier. Your words carry weight, and your silence just as powerful as your voice. Because when you pause, you own the space. Habit 3, rolling up your sleeves mid-conversation. Let's talk about one of the most underrated moves a man can make, visually and psychologically, rolling up your sleeves. But here's the catch. Timing is everything. Most guys either show up with them already rolled, trying too hard, or they make a show of it, and women can smell the performance. But when you do it casually, mid-con conversation, like it just happened naturally, it hits different. It says, I'm relaxed, I'm in flow, I'm not trying to prove anything. And what happens next? She notices the slow movement, the ease, the quiet confidence. Her eyes drift to your forearms, your hands, your energy. Without a word, you've shifted gears from conversational to subtly commanding. It's a form of kinesthetic attraction where simple movement leaves a lasting imprint. And when it's real, effortless, unforced, it's not a style move. It's a power move. Habit 4. Listening with your whole body, not just your ears. Most men think listening is just staying quiet while she talks. Wrong. That's just waiting for your turn. Real listening is physical. It's how your body reacts, how your face mirrors hers. You're not half-turned, checking your phone, nodding absent-mindedly. You're fully there, leaning in slightly, shoulders square, eyes locked. Not intense, but engaged. Your face reacts. Subtle smiles, soft nods, quiet pauses. Even your breath slows down. That's masculine presence. You're not just hearing her words, you're absorbing her. Psychologically, this creates mirrored attentiveness, a non-verbal signal that says, I see you, I'm with you. And for a woman, that hits different because being seen and heard on that level, that's rare. That's how trust is built. That's how attraction deepens. So, next time she talks, don't just hear her, feel her, react, be there. Make her feel like she's the only one in the room, and you'll become the only man she remembers. Habit 5. Lowering your voice at the right moments. There's power in your voice, not in volume, but in depth and control. Too many guys get this wrong. Either they try to sound deep all the time, forcing it until it feels fake, or they don't shift their tone at all, so every word lands flat. But when you drop your voice just slightly during key moments, it draws her in. It changes the emotional temperature. Picture this. You're laughing, light banter, playful energy. Then you say something important. You slow down. Your voice drops just enough to make her lean in. Suddenly, everything feels more intimate, more real. That shift in tone, it's not an accident. It's your signal that this moment matters. And trust me, she feel it. Then, out of nowhere, you share something real, personal, honest. And in that instant, your voice softens, your tone slows. The space between your words widens just a bit. That subtle drop in intensity, it draws her in. It tells her without saying it, this matters. Psychologists call this paraverbal communication, the emotional layer beneath your words. And for women, that vocal shift is a trigger. It grabs not just their attention, but their emotional focus. It says, I don't just want you to hear this. I want you to feel it. The best part, you already do this when you care, when you're serious, when you're truly present. So instead of saving it for rare moments, use it intentionally, because when your voice drops, the emotional temperature rises and she feels that immediately. Habit number 6, adjusting your posture. Mid-dash conversation. Posture is silent authority. Whether you notice it or not, every time you walk in, sit down or start talking, your body is saying something. And most guys, they're not paying attention. Slouched shoulders, leaning too far forward, shifting nervously at all signals, doubt, tension, or disconnection. And trust this, women notice it instantly. But when you subtly shift, roll your shoulders back, straighten your spine, plant your feet to send a completely different message. Your chest opens, your breath deepens, and your energy shifts. You look taller, more in control, more present. And here's the magic, you feel it too. That small physical reset doesn't just change how you look, it changes how you think. Psychologists call it embodied cognition. Change your body and your mind follows. So when you adjust mid-sentence, mid-smile, mid-story, she doesn't think he fixed his posture. She feels the change in your presence. She senses this man knows who he is. Because posture isn't about trying to look strong. It's about radiating presence. And the man who owns his space without trying to dominate it is the one she leans into emotionally and physically. Habit number 7, owning silence. Instead of filling it, silence isn't awkward. Insecurity is what makes it feel that way. Too many guys think being charismatic means non-stop talking. More stories, more jokes, anything to avoid the quiet but real confidence. It breathes. It doesn't rush. It doesn't perform. Picture this. You're on a date. The conversation hits, a pause, but instead of scrambling to fill it, you hold the silence. You keep eye contact. You breathe. And in that stillness, something powerful happens because that silence says, I'm grounded. It says, I'm enough, even without words. And she feels that the tension, the calm, the unspoken intimacy, that pause. It becomes the moment she remembers, not because of what was said, but because of what was felt. Neuroscience backs it up. Intentional silence, when shared, lights up the same parts of the brain as eye contact or touch. So when you own the pause, she doesn't feel ignored. She feels drawn in because you're not filling the space out of nervousness. You're comfortable in it. You own the quiet. And that quiet dominance, it doesn't just attract, it lingers. Habit number 8, emotional control with warmth. Let's be honest, emotional strength trips up a lot of men. Some shut down and go cold. Others overshare, thinking that raw exposure equals vulnerability. But real emotional strength, it's neither numb nor unstable. It's balanced and balanced. That's rare. A man who can feel deeply yet speak clearly and calmly. That man stays on her mind. He doesn't explode when he's frustrated. He doesn't vanish when it gets tense. He doesn't pretend something didn't hurt when it did. He simply says, that bothered me. Or, I felt disrespected. And he says it without shaking, without begging, without falling apart. This is emotional intelligence in action. Psychologists' final thoughts call it regulated vulnerability. The ability to express emotion with control and presence. And to a woman, that's everything because it creates emotional safety. She's not bracing for an outburst or waiting for a shutdown. She sees someone who can hold his own heart and still have space for hers. She sees maturity. She sees grounded strength. But more than that, she sees real potential. So don't be afraid to express how you feel. Just learn to do it with calm, with direction, with clarity. Because the man who stays steady while staying warm, that's the man she trusts. And that trust, that's attraction at a whole new level. Habit number 9, subtle masculine presence daily, unforced. Let's end with something powerful. The strongest attraction isn't built under spotlights. It's built in the micro movements, in the way you carry yourself when no one's watching. Adjusting your bracelet with intention. Rolling up your sleeves without drama. Lowering your voice. Straightening your posture. Letting silence hang when it needs to. All of it sends one quiet but undeniable message. Self-rust. That's what sticks in her mind. That's what she replays long after the moment is over. It's not about having abs. It's not about perfect lines. It's not about being the loudest guy in the room. It's about knowing yourself so well that you don't need to prove anything. Your presence speaks for you. And when you weave these small grounded habits into your everyday life, you don't just attract women, you earn their respect. And that's the foundation for something real, something lasting. Bonus habit, hush 1. Speak less, say more. Most men miss this. Attraction isn't about how much you say. It's about how much your words matter. In a world filled with noise where everyone's trying to impress by talking more, the man who speaks with purpose instantly stands out. He doesn't fill silence with fluff. He doesn't chase attention with stories that go nowhere. His words are chosen, intentional, and that does something powerful. It signals self-res, emotional control, and quiet confidence. To a woman, that restraint becomes magnetic. It says, I don't need to prove myself. I'll let my presence speak for me. You're not afraid of silence. You're not in a rush to perform. And that mystery, that control, it draws her in. So next time you feel pressured to impress, don't rush to speak. Pause. Choose words that count, because the man who doesn't talk much, but always says something worth hearing, he's unforgettable. Bonus habit number 2. Move like you control time. Let me ask you something. When you walk into a room, do you move quickly like you're reacting to the world? Or do you move like the world reacts to you? Here's what most don't realize. Fast, jerky movements signal anxiety, but slow, deliberate movement that shows confidence, leadership, calm, control. Picture the man who walks without rushing, who picks up his glass like time slows for him. He nods slowly, turns with precision, blinks like he owns every second. That man doesn't follow energy. He sets it. And on a primal level, women notice because slow movement equals power. You're not in a rush. You're not reactive. You own the moment. Like a lion crossing the savannah. No need to roar. His presence already says it all. So next time you move, slow it down. Be intentional, smooth. Because the man who moves with presence, that's the one she remembers long after the night ends. Here's the truth. If even one of these habits made you think, if I did that more, I'd show up differently, then you're already ahead of 90% of men. Attraction isn't about becoming someone else. It's about dialing in who you really are. So take these habits, live them, because the right woman isn't looking for perfect. She's looking for real, present, emotionally grounded, subtly powerful. Now, you've got the blueprint. This is Amelia, and you're watching Dark Psychology. If this resonated, tap like, hit subscribe, and stay close. Because in the next video, we're breaking down 7 behaviors that instantly make women see you as high value. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Until then, stay grounded, stay powerful,